All right, today we're jumping into one of the wildest, most mind-bending ideas in all of physics. What if I told you that our reality, everything you can see, everything you can touch, is actually built from pure information? Let's get into it.
So, where do we even begin with something like that? Well, we start with maybe the biggest question anyone can ask. It's a question that's puzzled philosophers for centuries, and it's the exact starting point for the brilliant physicist John Archibald Wheeler. The question is simple, but wow, is it deep? How come existence? Seriously, why is there something instead of just nothing? Now, for Wheeler, this wasn't just some late night philosophical question you ask and forget about. Nope. He truly believed that this question held the key to unlocking the entire universe. And he followed that thread of logic all the way to a conclusion that is, well, pretty startling. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to follow in his footsteps on this incredible journey. Okay, but before we can even get to Wheeler's wild answer, we have to do something first. We basically have to take our everyday, common sense idea of the world and tear it down. So buckle up, because reality is absolutely not what you think it is. First up, we've got to ditch this picture of the universe as some kind of giant cosmic machine. You know, like a clock that was wound up at the Big Bang and has just been ticking away ever since, following a bunch of preset rules. Wheeler looked at the evidence and said, yeah, that classical view, it just doesn't work. And just when you think it can't get weirder, it does. What about the very stage where all of this happens? You know, space and time? Turns out they aren't fundamental either. We see them as this smooth, continuous backdrop to our lives, but Wheeler realized that if you zoom in, way, way in, down to the most microscopic levels, space and time just kind of dissolve. They're not the bedrock of reality we thought they were. Okay, so if classical physics is out and space-time isn't fundamental, what about quantum mechanics? I mean, those equations are incredibly powerful. That has to be the final answer, right? Well, not so fast. According to Wheeler, even quantum theory is just a stand-in. It's an approximation that's hiding something much, much deeper. A source based on, you guessed it, information. All right, let's take a quick breather and recap the clues we've gathered so far from Wheeler. Clue number 1, the universe can't be some pre-programmed machine. Clue number 2, space-time as we know it literally falls apart at the tiniest scales. And clue number 3, even our best theory, quantum mechanics, is really just a placeholder. These are the big ideas that completely shatter our old picture of the world. So if everything we thought we knew about reality is wrong, where on earth do we even look for the truth? Wheeler's next big idea points us somewhere totally unexpected. He said the absolute key to all of this, is found in the simple but incredibly powerful act of asking a question. He actually came up with a name for this, observer participancy. And that name is perfect, because this isn't about just sitting back and passively watching the universe unfold. No, it's about actively participating in creating it. It's the act of taking a piece of equipment, asking a physical system a very basic yes or no question, and getting an answer. We aren't just spectators in the cosmic theater. We're actually part of the play. So how does this actually work? Let's make it simple. Imagine you take a particle and you ask it a question. Something like, hey, are you spinning up or are you spinning down? Your measuring device essentially forces the particle to choose, and what you get back is a single bit of information, a yes or a no. And here's the mind-blowing part. In that very moment, Wheeler said a tiny piece of reality is actually brought into being. That property, it didn't really exist in a definite state until you asked the question. Okay, so we've torn down the old clockwork universe. We found our big clue. The universe literally responds to the questions we ask it. And all of this leads us right to Wheeler's grand, unifying idea, his final answer to that ultimate question: how come existence? And here it is, straight from the man himself. He said that every physical thing, every single it you can imagine, gets its ultimate meaning, its very existence, from bits. From the answers to those simple yes or no questions. This is the phrase that turns everything on its head. It from bit. So what does it from bit actually mean? Well, in a nutshell, it's the idea that the physical world, the it, all the stuff, it isn't the bottom level of reality. Instead, reality literally emerges from the bits, from the information we get when we measure something. The universe isn't just some static thing that's out there waiting for us to find it. It's a participatory process, and we are one of the participants. Let's just break this down nice and simple. On one side, you've got it. That's all the physical stuff: matter, energy, space, time, the whole shebang. And on the other side, you have the bit. That's just a simple yes or no answer to a question. It's the act of observation itself. The truly radical idea here, the game changer, is that the bit is what creates the it.
And here you can see it laid out in its simplest, most powerful form. Reality flows from information. The tangible world we experience is literally built from the intangible answers to our questions. If you think about it that way, the universe isn't just made of particles and energy, it's made of meaning.
And that leaves us with a pretty stunning final thought, doesn't it? If reality itself is brought into being, at least in part, by our observations, if the universe is shaped by the very questions we ask of it, well, that puts a lot of power in our hands. And it makes you wonder, what question are you going to ask it next?